Hey everyone, this week we'll be talking about understanding the exposure to climate-related hazards.
Yes, today we'll discuss the impact of climate-related hazards and how GIS can help us to identify those areas that can be affected by climate-related hazards.
I'm Jeff Barani, lead solution engineer on the public safety team, focused on emergency management and part of the leadership of our disaster response program.
And I'm Jessica Bello. I lead the commercial technology consulting team in the advanced analytics department in professional services. And we focus on helping the private sector and particularly commercial clients to understand the impact of climate-related hazards using our GIS technology.
We are excited to share how GIS can help with climate-related hazards in both the private sector as well as the emergency management community. So Jessica, could you tell us a bit more about your background and some of the projects that you've worked on related to this topic?
Sure. In my work, we implement applications and tools with climate information using GIS. Our maps and applications reinforce the climate-related hazards are impacting us now. And these things are typically getting worse. We enable our customers to understand how conditions will change over the time and how this could affect their organizations so they can develop plans to protect their employees, property, and infrastructure. One example is the site level assessment map to visualize and explore future climate-related scenarios and impacted properties. We can also provide a summary of demographics and climate hazard information using infographics from business analysts, with hazard reports for extreme heat, drought, wildfire, inland and coastal flooding. The reports make it easier for users to download and share climate information. How about you, Jeff? How have you seen climate change impact your work?
Well, thanks, Jessica. For many decades, we supported our users responding to disasters or crises all over the world. Based on our lessons learned, some of the key questions that get asked after something happens is who's impacted and what's impacted. So as we've witnessed with all the impacts of climate change recently, with more intense rains causing flash floods, or the extreme heat that many parts of the country have been facing over the past few years, these questions of who and what are impacted by climate change are becoming increasingly important to ask. So let's look at an example. Here's a screenshot of a situational awareness viewer for Hurricane Ian in 2022. What we are looking at is the who and what is impacted in the cone of uncertainty for Hurricane Advisory 23A. We can see the number of schools, nursing homes, mobile homes, parks, hotels, as well as a breakdown of the population that's impacted. Federal, state, local, and international agencies do this type of analysis all the time to better understand the potential impact and exposure for the national hazards that they face. We can use this prediction analysis for climate change too. So let's talk about the impact of climate-related hazards. GIS can help us make better decisions to reduce
risks and vulnerability is the next step in resilience planning. Hazard exposure links risks and vulnerability. Classifying both allows businesses and communities to prioritize where proactive actions are required. For example, a sea level rise property impact map provides a way to analyze the intersection of geographic information with the spatial extents of climate hazards and building footprints, to measure and map the distribution risk of their properties and communicate to stakeholders and non-expert decision makers.
So how can GIS help with these challenges? Well, some of the things that we see in the emergency management community is using GIS to make better decisions about mitigation projects. In other words, what actions can we take to reduce our risk to disasters and climate change? This can include things like making difficult decisions about land use changes from a planning perspective, and to prevent expansion into high-risk areas, or relocate people out of flood-prone or high-risk areas, make physical changes to the environments or structures to reduce risks, or adopting or enforcing stricter building codes to keep us safe. These are just a few examples. So how can you make an impact on climate change with GIS? Well, we've seen in disasters, for example, that you, the GIS user community, are already doing a great job. You're helping to keep people safe, and you're helping to improve the outcomes for survivors. We have great hope that you can take the skills that you're learning and apply these to the challenges of climate change as well.
There is a lot of opportunity around resilience, climate sustainability that governments and companies are looking to GIS to help support as they figure out their strategy and their response. In the exercises for this section, you will start to use GIS to better understand the impacts of climate-related hazards. We hope you can take what you